Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez. And in tonight's game plan, we'll give you the latest from day one of the PBA Philippine Cup semifinals with the top 4 teams in the league.
We'll also find out what lies ahead for the Chery Tiggo crossovers as they wrap up their campaign in the 2022 PBL Invitational Conference. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. It's opening day for the PBA Philippine Cup semis, and the TNT Tropang Giga draw first blood versus the Magnolia Hotshots. And it was a one-sided game, wire-to-wire, 108-96 victory for the TNT Tropang Giga. Mikey Williams went off for 26, and RR Pogoy finishes with 23, 3, and 5. Joining us tonight to break down the key takeaways from the opening matchup is PBA analyst, the very handsome Marco Mylene. Coach, welcome to the... I'm sorry I missed you. It's been a while. I had to throw in that compliment out of nowhere.
Totoo naman eh.
Totoo naman.
You're not lying. You're not lying.
We're
You're
not
making it
joking
up.
here. First of all, thoughts here because wire-to-wire victory in what is supposedly the closer between the two series in terms of strength of the rosters on paper.
Well, to me, it's worrisome for Magnolia because what happened in the finals last Philippine Cup, 4-1 win for TNT, happened again today. Pretty much the same story. They couldn't stop Mikey Williams from erupting in the first half, and then when they put all their, adjust and play better against Mikey, Pogoy erupts, Cobontin contributes. Of course, Castro is also there. So we didn't see anything different from what happened in the previous finals. So really, for Magnolia, backs against the wall.
The lead went up to as much as 24, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. And Paulo mentioned that it was wire-to-wire. I remember when you were here the last time, Coach Mark, you said this was supposed to be the better matchup, right? Just in between the choices, you thought Magnolia was better equipped to go up with a team like them. But did they look weary to you today? Or was it maybe because of the emotional high from the previous win, the previous series?
That's definitely a big part of it. We're seeing it also in the other game. With
San Miguel.
With San Miguel dominating so far. Okay, although it's still early.
Right.
But so we're seeing the two teams that got extended getting a bit of the fatigue factor is definitely there. That's for sure. But I have not seen anything from Magnolia that will make me believe that they can beat TNT in a 4-game series because of what happened in the previous finals last season. So they have not seen anything different. They have not played Mikey. So far, their guards couldn't, for some reason, Halalon, Baroka, they can't stop Mikey Williams. And in the previous conference, Coach Victorero had to go through using big men, even using Rafi Reyes against Mikey Williams at some point, which worked for a while. But that's more of a gimmick than a thing that you can do long term.
Sustainable.
So I have not seen a real game plan that can stop Mikey Williams when he is on.
Coach, you look at Mikey Williams, is there any other guy at TNT that just made such a big difference that you can't ignore him?
Well, Roger Pagoy. I have to give props to my former guy
of course.
from FU. But you look at not just the scoring of Mikey Williams and Pugoy, but the field goal percentage. I think Mikey Williams was something like 8 out of 16 and Pugoy was 8 out of 15. But both of them around that 500% mark. Well, these are two perimeter players. When your two top scorers score over 20 with a high percentage, then it's usually a big problem for the opposing side.
Just to illustrate that fact, 50% from the field see Mikey Williams and 46% here are Pogoy. Of course, we have to also talk about Magnolia, Boom. And when you look at Magnolia, any silver linings from Game 1 for them to look at?
Aris Junicio is one, and Laput played well. Interesting to see if in Game 2, if Coach Chito Victorero will maybe start a bigger lineup. Maybe not play Halalon and Baroka together. I love those two. I said
Right,
said
you said
before,
here,
it's
yeah.
the best backcourt in the league.
Correct.
But for some reason, it has not worked against TNT.
Yeah.
It has not worked against Mikey Williams.
Because
I don't know.
it's just it's just Mikey being Mikey.
No, Mikey is. I think Mikey is too strong for both of them, and maybe the size is there, and he's as quick as the two.
Right.
So I think you need to play Mikey Williams with a bigger player, and they did that as I said with Rafi Rivis. So maybe a guy like Aris Dionisio could be the one to stop Mikey Williams because of his length.
So Mikey scored 26 today, right? He's came into the series almost at 28 points, so he's right there. If you're coach, what do you tell your team for game number 2? What's the realistic thing to say here?
You really have to. I mean, because Mikey has done this, you cannot say that Mikey will. Let's hope Mikey will have a home run.
Yeah.
Because they did this to them. He did this to them in the finals.
Last
So
year,
you really have to scheme against Mikey Williams. Hopefully, the big men of TNT will not play well. You maybe have some double teaming, some trapping. But I think maybe putting some size on him early in the game, play physical. Most of the Philam players, they don't like to be played physically. So maybe play him a little bit more physical. That's why I think someone like an Aris Dionisio could be a surprise starter. Let him defend against Williams, shackle him a bit. Because when he is on a roll, it becomes easy for guys like Pugoy, guys like Obontin, because of the confidence of the team really goes up.
Which is basically what happened today. Dahil yung si Mikey, from the start, diba? Especially that second quarter where I think he scored like 12 points right away. Parang open things up for everybody else.
He did his damage in the first half.
First half, exactly.
He didn't really have to score much in the second half anymore because Pugoy took over, Cobontin as well. Castro, of course, will always have his moments.
Parang kagat ng dila na si Mikey dito. Siya na talaga yung topic natin dito because he's just been that great. Go ahead, Pao.
So when you look at Magnolia right now, syempre we're gonna try and figure out what adjustments we're gonna make and game plan. You talk about the size. They already beat TNT in terms of rebounding. Their points in the paint was dead even. When you look at how they could utilize their size more and hopefully get Paul Lee more open looks. Paul Lee, scoreless from beyond the arc, mind you, which rarely happens. What are the biggest adjustments you see apart from changing the guy on Mikey Williams defensively?
The top three guys, the three guards, they just have to shoot better. Halalon, Baroka, and Paul Lee. The top three guys of TNT, you mentioned them earlier, Paolo, Williams, Pugoy, and
Cobontin.
and Castro.
Castro
all scored about 50% or close to 50%. Those three guys struggled. Struggled from the perimeter. No way. They're not going to beat TNT if Paul Lee doesn't score with a good percentage. Paul Lee and Baroka.
All right, so we're gonna move on now to the other series that's ongoing at the moment, and just so everyone knows, just in case you see this, actually the third quarter just started. So if you catch this later on, this is the context: 63-43 right now in favor of the San Miguel Beermen. So the San Miguel Beermen, you mentioned it a while ago. The team that played the extended series is the one suffering earlier on. Is that just that same case for you? Or
yan ang emotional din. Super emotional.
Both those teams, Meralco now and Magnolia in the first game, I will give them a bit of a pass in game 1 because of what they went
through.
Meralco,
you mean?
Both Meralco and Magnolia.
Okay.
So, but we'll probably see a better, something better from Meralco, especially from Meralco in game number 2. I think they're spent, especially their bigs. And now they have to play against Junmar Fajardo. So they're a bit spent. So maybe let's see if they can bounce back better in game 2. Not that it's done. Not that it's already done. But there's definitely the fatigue factor. It's a factor right now.
Who are you looking at that has to really shine for Meralco in this series against SMB?
It has to be the front court. If Junmar dominates, and then you still have Vic Manuel. Dondial played a fantastic first half. I was watching on the way today. So if that happens, there's no chance for Meralco to win this. They have to hold their own, especially in the defensive end. Hodge, Almazan, even guys like Jose, Pascual. They have to be able to at least minimize the impact of Junmar Fajardo.
You know, just looking at the numbers here right now, and for those who are wondering, at the moment, yung top scorers ng Meralco are Cliff Hodge with 10, Raymar Jose with 8, and Chris Newsom with 7. You look at that scoring profile, and it already tells you that they're having a hard time getting to the finding the bottom of the net. You look at the front court you mentioned, is it just the case of trying to contain a guy like Junmar, or do you feel that offensively they also have to complement what a Newsom brings, what a Aaron Black brings?
They do, because if they trap the guards, they have to score. They have to convert. They have to make it easier for the guards. But they're not expected to score. When it comes to scoring, you need 15 points from Alain Maliksi. You need 15 points at least from Aaron Black. Maybe 18 from Chris Newsom. If they don't produce those numbers, it's going to be difficult to be competitive against San Miguel.
Coach, quickly, other than Junmar, who else is going to do damage in your eyes? Who's going to maybe surprise somebody here in this series?
It's not a surprise, but it's CJ Perez.
CJ Perez.
It has to be CJ Perez. To me, CJ is already the most important player in this team, because
Really?
because Junmar is so
See,
good.
he's surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah.
See, tama.
No, that's surprising.
I'm just saying, because Junmar doesn't have that game-long dominance anymore.
Okay.
You cannot expect Junmar to play 36 to 40 solid
Sustained excellence throughout the
MVP
game.
minutes.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
there anymore. It's
Okay.
not. He'll do it for maybe 20. If there's a game 7, he'll do it maybe for one game. But to ask Junmar to do it every single game
Right.
is
Yeah.
difficult. So that he has to be CJ.
Okay.
And for CJ, the spotlight is also on him. He has not won a championship with San Miguel.
That is true.
This is his chance, and he has to be the one leading at the forefront for San Miguel to win this.
Opportunity.
He leads the scoring
There
at
you
the
go.
moment, by the way, with 20 points. Don't see CJ Perez
Perfect.
shooting at 66% of making Sir Mark look very, very good with his prediction.
That's why we had to throw in that
Yeah,
question.
we did. We had to. Coach, thank you very much for joining us, and I'm sure you're going to be covering some of the games, and hopefully I can call some games with you as well.
Nice.
Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys.
So after the break, we'll catch up with Mylene Paat, Buding Duremdes, and Alina Bicar of Chery Tiggo as they prepare to bounce back in the PVL. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
We're back with you here on The Game. Unfortunately, it's the end of the road for the Chery Tiggo crossovers in the PVL Invitational Conference. But they are taking all these valuable lessons for their next stint. So, let's find out more about the team and what lies ahead. We have with us crossovers, Mama P, Mylene, Paat, Buding, Duremdes, and Alina, Bicar. Good evening and welcome to The Game. Hello!
Good evening po.
Hello po.
Hello, hello. All right, good to see everyone. Okay, Mylene, I'll start with you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. What are the biggest takeaways from this conference? Actually, dalawang sunod na conference na medyo, unfortunately, hindi nagtapos dun sa gusto nyo. What are the positives, though, that you can take away from the learnings from this invitational conference?
And una-una sa lahat, good evening. Thank you for inviting us, Boom, Pao, The Game. So, yung biggest talaga lesson na natutunan namin ngayon is hindi porke nakamit mo na yung top before is hindi mo na kailangan mag-work hard para sa mga susunod na game. Though in short, parang na short man yung team namin this conference, especially last conference pa yan nag-start eh.
Correct.
So kailangan lang namin ulit bumangon and ayun nga matuto sa mga pagkakamali namin. And syempre, work hard talaga ang kailangan para syempre maabot namin yung talagang goal namin. Though lock din kami ng preparation eh. So, ayun, marami rin nagka-positives, marami rin struggles.
Daming adversity nitong conference. At paalala lang natin dun sa ang context nito, syempre, nag-champion po ang Chery Tiggo 2 conferences ago, kaya natin pinag-uusapan in this context.
That is true. Oo. And now, I'm excited for this kasi I wanna ask Buding in her own words. Buding, in your own words, paki-describe naman yung conference na to and how much of a fuel it would be sa susunod na conferences para sa Chery Tiggo. Nakamute ka yata. Sorry.
Or parang nawawala.
Nawawala. Try natin ulit. Ayun, Buding? Ayun, wait, sorry. I think na-mute mo ulit. Yun. Ay, naku. Okay na. Game. Okay, ulitin natin. Let's go.
Conference, parang kami, struggle. Tapos, namin next conference para kami namin ulit yung goal namin.
Okay, Alina, unang-una, napag-usapan na natin, medyo minalas ng konti, especially from a health standpoint. Alam na natin yung injury kay Din, tapos yung mga players na katulad nyo, pati sila EJ, sila Justin, napunta sa health and safety protocols. Pero, okay, how are you with the new team coming from Petrogas and now nandito ka sa Chery Tiggo? Kamusta naman ang iyong kahit short stint right now sa Chery Tiggo?
Ayun po, sobrang saya. Kasi nung unang pasok ko talaga is hindi ko na feel na parang bago lang ako. Kasi nung pagkapasok ko, bigla, parang naging family, naging home ko na siya. Masaya. Lalo na yung mga tao din na kilala ko din yung mga players, lalo na din sila Ate EJ. Yan, sila Buding. Si Buding, pagkadating ko, parang close na kami agad kasi sobrang ingay niya. Sabi ko, okay. So, ayun, sobrang saya lang. Sobrang nakakatuwa kasi in-accept nila ako agad and ayun, naging mas okay kami sa loob. Sa loob lang.
Yung first game mo, Alina, may impact ka kaagad. You had 4 players score in double figures, if I'm not mistaken, dun sa game na you return from yung mga protocols nga. Tapos panalo pa. So, that must have felt good, no? Parang, eto na, ready ka na talaga dito with Chery Tiggo.
Opo, yun nga, sabi na, kasi nung pa lang namin, gusto na talaga namin maglaro, minalas talaga. So ayun, nung pagkalaro namin, basta sabi namin, nilagpudin, pag ipasok kami, kung ano mangyari, kailangan mag-ano tayo, gumawa tayo. Kailangan mag-impact tayo every time na pumapasok. Kami, hindi lang ako, kami lahat.
Alam
So
mo,
yun, nagbunga naman yung ginawa namin.
Against her former team
Oo
pa.
nga, against her former team, may konting drama sana yun eh. At Alina, want to ask saan kung na-overwhelm ka kay Buding eh, pero mamaya na lang yan. Mylene, when you look at yung team ninyo and the frustration that you must have felt, that's a health and safety protocols and dahil sa, the injuries, you were easily the unhealthiest team sa conference na to. How excited are you to show what this team really is about sa susunod na conference?
Actually, dumating nga rin sa point nung last game namin. So, doon sa last game namin, parang nakita ko talaga yung hinahanap ng coaches, hinahanap ng fans sa team namin, which is, yun yung pinerform namin. Lahat ng luck kami all throughout this conference, this elimination. Doon sa pinaka-last game, lumabas talaga lahat ng yung powers namin, yung defense namin, lahat receive, lahat yan. So, yun yung talagang puso ng team namin eh. So, this coming next conference, I hope na yun pa rin talaga yung kailangan namin i-maintain and i-develop pa rin.
At sana maging healthy, ano? And everybody's available to play. Yun ang isa sa mga pinaka-importante. Buding, naka-break ba kayo? Or naghahanda na ba kayo? Or para dun sa season in October, nasaan ba ang Chery Tiggo ngayon in this stage of preparation?
Break po kami. So,
Sorry, nawawala talaga si Buding. I'll probably throw it to Alina. Alina, nasan kayo in terms of preparation? Naghahanda na ba kayo? Naka-break ba kayo? At ano bang plano moving forward?
Ayun po, naka-break po kami ngayon, pero babalik na po ulit kami ng trainings. Monday po. So, ayun, balik na naman sa training, maghahanda ulit para sa next conference.
And girls, first of all, hopefully the health is on your side next conference.
Yes.
We're excited to see more of what we saw sa last game ninyo. At syempre, sana next time live dito si Buding para hindi na siya naglalag. Yan yung pinakamalaking priority dito sa show namin for next time. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Maraming salamat. Stay healthy, girls. And after the break, we'll give you the latest in the 2022 ASEAN Paralympic Games. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back. You're watching The Game. Let's check the latest from the 2022 ASEAN Paralympic Games held in Surakarta, Indonesia. The Philippines is nearing its 2017 record as our athletes tally a total of 34 medals. The country currently has 9 golds, 9 silvers, and 16 bronze medals. Ariel Joseph Aligabres dove into the action as he broke the record of both the 100-meter backstroke and 50-meter butterfly. The 18-year-old finished with 2 gold medals in his debut at the Games. Gerald Mangliwan is back on top as he finishes first in the men's wheelchair 100-meter. Mangliwan came up victorious over fellow Filipino athlete Rodrigo Podiotan Jr., who finished second. And Sandy Asusano added another gold to the Philippines' long list as she topped the women's javelin throw as she tallied 13.72 meters on her first attempt. The ASEAN Paralympic Games is happening until August 6, 2022.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.